Imaginative Reality. Introduction. The Architects of Reality. The concept that reality is something that we create is a fundamental principle that goes beyond surface-level motivational speeches. It's a deep, spiritual truth, an understanding of how life unfolds based on your internal state. Reality is not some abstract world outside your reach. It's a direct projection of your thoughts, feelings, and the assumptions you live by. If we take a deeper look at this concept, it becomes clear that our external world serves as a mirror reflecting our inner beliefs. What you believe to be true about yourself and the world around you manifests in the form of experiences, people, and situations. This isn't mere wishful thinking or theoretical rhetoric. This is the way the universe operates, and it has done so for centuries. When you understand this truth, you begin to realize that you are not merely reacting to life, you are actively creating it. But what does this really mean? Imagine waking up to the reality that everything in your life is not a random occurrence. There's no such thing as a coincidence. There is only the echo of your thoughts, feelings, and the assumptions you have held for years. Every person you meet, every opportunity that arises, every challenge you face, these are all manifestations of your inner world. Understanding this simple yet profound concept changes everything. Once you realize that you are the architect of your own reality, you no longer feel powerless. You become empowered to design the life you truly desire, consciously shaping every moment with intention. To further this understanding, let's explore the historical and spiritual context of this principle. Ancient teachings, whether from the mystics of the East or the philosophers of the West, have long understood that our inner world shapes our outer reality. Neville Goddard brought this to light in a way that resonates with our modern understanding of consciousness. But this truth is not new. It has been hidden in plain sight, awaiting a time when humanity was ready to embrace its own creative power. Expanded. Chapter 1. The world is yourself pushed out. The idea that the world is yourself pushed out is one of the most profound and often misunderstood concepts in spiritual literature. What does it mean? To truly understand this, one must first accept the fact that the world you perceive through your senses is not an objective reality. Instead, it is a subjective projection of your inner beliefs, assumptions, and mental images. Take a moment to consider this deeply. The world is not a neutral stage upon which you act. It is a reflection of your dominant assumptions. Your beliefs about yourself, about others, and about life as a whole are constantly being reflected back to you in your experiences. If you believe that people are untrustworthy, your life will be filled with situations that prove this belief to be true. If you believe that you are destined for failure, your actions, reactions, and the events around you will align to confirm that belief. This principle can be traced back to ancient spiritual teachings. In the Bible, for instance, it's written that, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." This is not just a metaphor, it is a spiritual law. Your inner thoughts and feelings are the seeds that create your outer world. The experiences you have are a direct result of the assumptions you make about reality. This can be both liberating and terrifying. If you are creating your reality, it means that your thoughts and beliefs hold incredible power. But if you find yourself in a reality that is less than ideal, it also means that you have the power to change it. The key to changing your world is to change your inner beliefs. This is not about pretending to be something you're not, nor is it about positive thinking alone. It's about fundamentally shifting the beliefs you hold about yourself and your place in the world. Let's take an example. If you've been experiencing difficulties in your relationships, take a step back and ask yourself, what assumptions do I have about love? If you believe that love is hard to find, or that you are unworthy of love, that belief will play out in your experiences. On the other hand, if you shift your belief to one that says, I am deserving of love and love comes to me easily, your reality will start to reflect that assumption. The people, situations, and opportunities you attract will be in alignment with your new belief. Changing your assumptions requires more than just surface-level affirmations. It requires deep inner work. You must challenge the beliefs that no longer serve you and replace them with new, empowering beliefs. This process may take time, but the results are undeniable. Once you begin to shift your internal beliefs, the world around you begins to change. Expanded. Chapter 2. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now that we understand that the world is a reflection of our inner world, the next step is to consciously create the reality we desire. Neville Goddard's teaching, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, is the key to this process. This is where many people falter in their manifestation practice. They focus on the wanting rather than the having. They feel the lack of what they desire, which only perpetuates that lack. Manifestation is not about striving or desiring. It's about embodying the feeling of already having what you want. When you truly feel that your desire is already fulfilled, you align yourself with that reality, and the universe must respond accordingly. To explain this more deeply, let's consider an example. Imagine you are desiring a new job. Most people, when they think about this, focus on the lack of it. They think, I don't have the job yet, and I need to get it. This state of wanting keeps the job outside of their reality. Instead, Neville teaches us to assume the feeling of having the job already. Feel the joy, the excitement, the relief, as if it has already been manifested. When you live from that feeling, you're no longer waiting for the job to come. You are already living as though you have it. And that's when the job will come into your life, because you've created the inner state that matches the outer reality. This principle applies to every area of life, from health to wealth to relationships. If you want to manifest abundance, feel abundant. If you want to manifest love, feel loved. This is the law of attraction in its most powerful form. Not just thinking positively, but deeply feeling the state of already having what you desire. Expanded. Chapter 3. Rewrite the past. Rewrite your life. The power of imagination extends beyond creating your future. It also includes the ability to transform your past. This is one of Neville Goddard's most powerful teachings. Revision. Revision is the art of going back into your memories and revising them in your imagination. You are not bound by the events that have happened to you in the past. While the events themselves may have happened, the meaning you attach to them is entirely up to you. If you've experienced pain, regret, or loss, you have the power to revise those memories in your mind. This process is not about ignoring or denying the past. It's about changing your perception of it. For example, if you experience rejection in the past, you can go back into that memory and imagine the person responding with love and acceptance. You can imagine the event playing out differently, with the outcome you desired. When you revise your past in this way, you are changing the beliefs you have about yourself and your worth. You are rewiring your subconscious mind, which in turn changes your present reality. The power of revision is that it allows you to release old patterns of thinking and to create a new story for yourself, one where you are empowered, loved, and successful. This practice of revision is not just for healing old wounds, it's also for unlocking your full potential. If you've believed that you're not good enough, revision allows you to rewrite that belief and step into a new version of yourself, one who is worthy, deserving, and capable of achieving great things. Chapter 4. Imagination creates reality, not action. Action has long been celebrated as the key to success, but Neville Goddard turned this notion on its head. According to Neville, action is not the creator of your reality, imagination is. In this chapter, we dive deep into why imagination is more powerful than action in creating your life. Most people believe that in order to manifest something, they must take action. While action is necessary in the physical world, it is imagination that sets the stage for what actions you will take and how those actions will unfold. Before anything can manifest in your external world, it must first be imagined. Think of every invention, every work of art, every great achievement. These were first born in someone's imagination. Imagination is the seed from which all things grow. Action is simply the tool used to bring that seed into the physical world. When you begin to understand that imagination is the true creator, you stop chasing external results. Instead, you focus on the internal process of creation. You live from the end result, assuming that what you desire is already yours. From that place, your actions will naturally follow. Chapter 5. Inner conversations shape outer conditions. The secret to changing your external world lies within the conversation you are having inside your mind. Neville Goddard's teachings emphasize that your inner dialogue, the voice that constantly talks to you, whether you are aware of it or not, plays a crucial role in shaping your reality. Most people are unaware of the power their inner speech has over their lives. The words you say to yourself, the thoughts you think about yourself, and the assumptions you hold about others are constantly creating and recreating the world around you. In fact, your inner conversations are the unseen architects of your life. They direct the course of your actions, attract certain people into your life, and influence the experiences you have. This is why Neville teaches that you are not merely a passive observer in life, but the active creator of it. Your reality is shaped not by the circumstances or the people you encounter, but by the conversations you have within your own mind. If you are constantly telling yourself that you are unworthy or incapable, those thoughts will shape your experiences and reinforce feelings of inadequacy. But if you change your inner dialogue to one of self-worth, confidence, and possibility, the world will respond accordingly. For example, think about the last time you felt rejected. What did you say to yourself in that moment? Did you tell yourself that you were unlovable, that no one would ever accept you? Or did you shift your inner conversation to something more empowering, like, I am worthy of love and the right people are coming into my life? The former creates more rejection, while the latter opens the door to positive change and new experiences. The conversations you have in your head are not private. They are public in slow motion. The world responds to the thoughts and feelings that you continually nurture. Take a moment to ask yourself, what is my default inner dialogue? Do I speak kindly to myself, or am I critical? Do I assume success or expect failure? These questions are vital because they help you understand the scripts you are living out in your own life. If your inner conversations are filled with negativity, fear, and self-doubt, it's time to change the script. Instead of focusing on what is wrong, start affirming what is right. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I am capable. Instead of thinking, this will never work out, think, everything is unfolding perfectly. The more you change your inner conversations to reflect positivity and success, the more your outer world will shift in response. This practice of monitoring and changing your inner dialogue requires consistent effort and awareness. The voice in your head often operates on autopilot, running old scripts that no longer serve you. But by becoming aware of these scripts and consciously rewriting them, you are taking back control of your life. Your inner speech shapes your reality, and as you change your internal conversations, you will begin to notice a shift in your external experiences. It's not about pretending that everything is perfect. It's about aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. Chapter 6. Sleep, the Gateway to Creation. Sleep, often seen as a time of rest and relaxation, holds a far deeper significance in Neville Goddard's teachings. According to Neville, sleep is the most important moment of the day because it is the time when the subconscious mind is most receptive. In the quiet stillness before sleep, the conscious mind takes a back seat, and the subconscious mind is free to accept whatever impressions you give it. This is where creation begins, not in your efforts to make things happen, but in the imaginal acts you perform just before sleep. When you fall asleep with a vivid mental image of your desired outcome, you are impressing that image upon your subconscious, which then sets the wheels of manifestation in motion. Sleep is not just a time for physical rest. It is a sacred space for planting the seeds of your desires. What you think about and feel in those final moments before sleep is crucial, because it is the state in which your subconscious mind will work on your behalf. Neville teaches us to use sleep as a tool for conscious creation. Before you drift off, take a few moments to visualize the outcome you desire. See yourself already living the life you want to live. Feel the emotions associated with your desire, whether it's joy, peace, love, or abundance. The more vivid and emotionally charged the mental image, the more powerful it will be. This practice of sleeping into your desire is not just a technique, it is a law of creation. As you fall asleep, imagine the fulfillment of your wish as if it has already happened. The more you practice this, the more your subconscious mind will begin to align with that reality, and the world around you will eventually shift to match it. The power of sleep as a creation tool is rooted in the fact that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. When you fall asleep with a clear mental picture of your desire, your subconscious begins to work on turning that image into reality. This is why Neville emphasizes the importance of the feeling in your imagination. The feeling is the key to impressing the subconscious. When you feel the fulfillment of your desire deeply, your subconscious takes it as a command and begins to manifest it. But this process isn't just about mental imagery. It also involves emotional alignment. When you feel the emotions associated with your desire, whether it's excitement, relief, or gratitude, you are aligning your energy with that of the desire. Emotion is the fuel that powers manifestation, and sleep is the time when the subconscious mind is most receptive to that emotional energy. So, before you sleep tonight, take a few moments to deeply feel your desire as if it's already fulfilled. Let that feeling saturate your being and then drift off to sleep, knowing that your subconscious will work on your behalf while you rest. Chapter 7. Imagination is the divine itself. Neville Goddard teaches us that imagination is not just a tool we use to create, it is the very essence of the divine itself. Imagination is not something separate from God or the universe. It is God's creative force working through us. God is not a distant entity residing in the heavens. God is the power within us, the divine presence that imagines, creates, and manifests the world we experience. According to Neville, imagination is the divine substance that shapes all of reality. This radical concept challenges the traditional view of God as an external force or authority figure. Instead, Neville invites us to see God as the imagination within us. This is not blasphemy, but a deep spiritual truth that aligns with the idea that we are made in the image of God. God is the creator, and as such, we are also creators, equipped with the same creative power. When we imagine, we are tapping into the divine force that brought the universe into existence. Imagination is the language of God, and when we imagine, we are communing with the divine. This understanding shifts the way we view our own power. Rather than seeing ourselves as mere mortals striving to manifest desires, we begin to recognize that we are the very expression of divine consciousness. The images we hold in our minds are not just fantasies or daydreams, they are the seeds of creation. The more we align our imagination with the divine truth of who we are, the more we begin to experience that divine power in our lives. Imagination becomes not just a creative tool, but a spiritual practice, a way to tap into the source of all creation. In practical terms, this means that when we use our imagination to manifest our desires, we are engaging with the divine within us. Imagination is the means by which the divine speaks to us, the process through which our desires are formed and realized. When we imagine with faith, We are participating in the creative process that brought the universe into being. We are co-creators with God, using the same divine power to shape our reality. So, the next time you sit down to visualize your desires or imagine a different reality, remember that you are not doing this alone. You are tapping into the divine creative force that exists within you. Imagination is not a passive activity. It is the act of divine creation taking place through you. And when you align your imagination with the divine will, you will see your desires come to fruition in ways that are beyond your wildest expectations. Chapter 8. Persistence over force. One of the biggest misconceptions people have about manifestation is that it requires struggle and relentless effort. Society teaches us that success comes only through hard work and constant action. However, Neville Goddard's teachings emphasize that persistence, not force, is the key to manifestation. Force is driven by fear. It's the idea that you need to push and manipulate the world in order to make things happen. Persistence, on the other hand, is rooted in faith. It is the unwavering belief that your desire is already done. Persistence is the quality that allows you to stay aligned with your desire, even when external circumstances don't immediately reflect the change you want. Force, on the other hand, leads to frustration and burnout. When you try to force things to happen, you are operating from a place of resistance. But when you persist in your belief, even in the face of challenges, you are aligning yourself with the natural flow of creation. Neville teaches that the key to persistence is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to remain in that state until it becomes your dominant vibration. When you do this, the outer world must eventually align with your inner world. But this process takes time, and this is where persistence comes in. It's not about forcing or pushing the universe to give you what you want. It's about remaining faithful to the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, regardless of the circumstances. The universe works according to the law of assumption. Whatever you assume to be true in your consciousness will eventually manifest in your external reality. But this law requires persistence. You cannot change your inner assumption one day and then doubt it the next. You must persist in the belief that what you desire is already yours, and the universe will eventually reflect that belief. Persistence is not about struggling, it is about aligning with the truth of who you are. It's about trusting that your desire is already fulfilled and holding that belief without wavering. When you do this, the universe will begin to arrange circumstances and events to match your assumption. And as you persist in that assumption, the outer world will inevitably shift to reflect your inner state. Chapter 9. Imagination as Prophecy. What if I told you that you are already a prophet? What if, without even realizing it, you are constantly declaring your future through the power of your imagination? Every single day, the inner scenes you dwell upon, the feelings you nurture, and the assumptions you make shape the path you walk tomorrow. Neville Goddard's teachings make this concept crystal clear. Imagination is not just a tool for creative expression, it is prophetic power that actively shapes your destiny. Imagination is the silent force that molds the future. This isn't metaphysical fluff or wishful thinking. It is a universal truth. The images you conjure in your mind today are not mere fantasies. They are the blueprint for your future experiences. When you imagine joy, abundance, or success, you are planting the seeds of those experiences, and your life must grow to match them. When you imagine lack, fear, or failure, those are the seeds that will sprout as your reality. Your imagination is prophetic because what you imagine consistently with feeling and belief becomes your fate. This concept flips the traditional view of prophecy on its head. Most people think of prophecy as a prediction of the future, a foresight into what will come. But Neville teaches that prophecy is not about predicting the future. It's about creating it. You are not waiting for signs or omens from the universe to tell you what will happen. You are actively shaping your future through the images and feelings you cultivate in your imagination. For instance, if you constantly imagine the worst-case scenario, you are unknowingly prophesying disaster. You might think, I hope things work out, but in the depths of your mind, you are imagining failure. This inner prophecy will eventually manifest as your reality. On the other hand, if you imagine success, happiness, and abundance, you are prophesying those outcomes into being. The more consistently you return to that imagined scene, the more real it becomes, and the universe will align itself to make it so. Neville Goddard emphasized that the law of assumption is the mechanism behind this process. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you imagine the end result as if it is already yours, you are creating a vision of your future that the universe must eventually conform to. The more you hold this vision, the more real it becomes, and the more it takes form in your external world. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the spirit of prophecy. It is the moment you step into your desired reality and begin living as if it's already true. But here's the catch. Many people are unknowingly prophesying the very things they don't want. If you want to change your life, you need to become aware of the inner movies you are constantly playing. What are you imagining about your future? Are you imagining love, success, and health? Or are you imagining rejection, failure, and illness? Whatever you consistently imagine, with emotion and belief, will become your reality. This is the great secret. Imagination is prophecy, and you are the one creating it. The power to change your future is in your hands, and it lies in your ability to imagine a new one. The key is to choose your inner images deliberately. Don't wait for life to prove to you that things can be different. Choose to imagine something different and then persist in that vision until it becomes your truth. You are the author of your own future, and your imagination is the pen that writes it. Chapter 10. The Law and the Promise. There are two foundational pillars that support everything Neville Goddard taught: the law and the promise. The law is the mechanism of creation. It is the spiritual law that governs all manifestation, and it operates with perfect precision. The promise, on the other hand, is the deeper, more mystical truth that lies beyond manifestation. It is the awakening to your true divine nature. Both the law and the promise work together, guiding you toward conscious creation and spiritual awakening. The law is simple and unyielding. It states that whatever you assume to be true in your imagination and feel with conviction will manifest in your reality. This is not a metaphor or a spiritual concept to be pondered. It is a universal law, much like gravity. Just as gravity pulls objects to the ground, the law of assumption pulls your desires into your life. If you assume that success, love, or health are already yours, the universe must rearrange itself to make it so. The law is neutral. It does not judge. It simply reflects back to you whatever you hold in your consciousness. However, the law alone is not enough. The promise is what gives life to the law. The promise is the deeper realization that you are not just a human being striving to create a better life. You are the divine creator, awakening to your true nature. The promise is the remembering that you are not separate from the divine, but one with it. It is the realization that you are the dreamer and the dream, the creator and the creation. This realization transforms the way you use the law. You no longer use the law to chase after things, but to express your divine nature and manifest from a place of wholeness and love. Neville taught that the law helps you shape your external world, but the promise helps you remember your true nature. The law is about creating consciously and deliberately, but the promise is about awakening to who you truly are, the divine creator that has always been within you. When you use the law, you are creating your reality from a place of understanding that you are divine, that you are the I am, the creator of all that is. The promise is the divine assurance that no soul is lost, that no being is forgotten, and that every path ultimately leads back to the One. You are returning to your true nature, to the realization that you are both the dreamer and the dream. The promise is not just about manifestation. It is about remembering who you really are. It is the awakening to the truth that you have always been whole, always been loved, and always been connected to the divine source. The promise is the revelation that you are not a separate individual struggling to create a better life. You are the one creating life, and you are the one who has always been in control. The promise is the inner realization that you are already divine, and the external world is simply a reflection of that divine nature. As you continue to use the law to manifest your desires, never forget the promise. The law gives you the power to create, but the promise gives you the peace of knowing that you are already whole, already connected to the divine. The law helps you shape your external world, but the promise helps you remember that you are the source of all creation. Chapter 11. Practical Imagination. Real-world application. Now that you understand the power of imagination and the law of assumption, the next question is, how do you apply these teachings in your everyday life? The key is to make imagination a practical tool for creation, not just something you use occasionally or in meditation. Imagination is not a luxury or a hobby, it is the engine of your becoming. When you use it deliberately, you stop reacting to life and start creating it. Let's say you want a new job. Most people would update their resume, make some calls, and wait for an opportunity to present itself. But when you use imagination practically, you go beyond the surface-level actions. You enter imagination, close your eyes, and see yourself already in the job. You hear the words, "Congratulations, we're thrilled to have you." You feel the weight of the offer letter in your hand. You imagine walking into the office confidently, knowing that you are exactly where you belong. You feel the joy and gratitude as you step into your new role. The more vividly you imagine this scene, the more it becomes real to you. You don't beg for the job, you don't hope for it, you don't obsess over it. You assume it, and then you allow the law to work its magic. The same principle applies to relationships. If your relationship feels broken, don't focus on the issues or rehearse the arguments. Instead, enter your imagination and create a new scene. Hear the laughter, see the love, feel the connection. Imagine the conversation where everything is restored and healed. The more you dwell in this new version of the relationship, the more it will begin to reflect in the outer world. You stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on the solution, on the desired outcome that already exists in your imagination. This is not about escaping reality. It is about reshaping it. When you use imagination in this way, you are not waiting for the world to change before you feel better. You are creating the change from within. You are assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and that assumption, made with conviction, will manifest in your external world. It's not about action for the sake of action. It's about inspired action that arises naturally from your inner vision. As Neville Goddard said, imagination is the only reality. When you make it your first response to life, when you choose to see the world through the lens of imagination, you are stepping into a new reality. This is not a metaphor. It is the law in action. The more you practice this, the more your external world will shift to reflect the world you are creating internally. So start now. Use imagination in every room, before every meeting, during every challenge. Let it become your constant companion, your guiding light. The world must reflect your inner state, so make your inner world one of abundance, peace, and joy. Chapter 12. You are the dreamer and the dream. As you reach the end of this journey, there comes a moment when the lines between the dreamer and the dream begin to blur. You begin to realize that the world you are experiencing is not separate from you. It is a reflection of your consciousness. The roles you play, the limitations you face, the challenges you encounter, and the joys you experience are all part of the same dream. And you are not merely a participant in this dream, you are the dream itself. Neville Goddard's teachings invite you to step into the realization that you are both the creator and the created. You are the dreamer and the dream. Everything you have experienced, everything you are experiencing now, and everything you will experience in the future is the product of your imagination. You are not waiting for life to unfold. You are the one who has been unfolding it all along. This realization is the key to true freedom. When you recognize that you are the dreamer, you stop being a passive observer of your life and become an active creator. You understand that you have the power to shape every aspect of your reality. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the one who creates those circumstances. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the one who designs your fate. As the dreamer, you can rewrite the story of your life at any moment. You are the author, the narrator, and the protagonist. You can choose to step into a new version of yourself, a new version of your world, and a new version of your life. You are not bound by your past experiences, your current limitations, or the opinions of others. You are the dreamer, and the dream is yours to shape. So, as you move forward, remember that you are not just creating with your imagination. You are living as your imagination. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your assumptions are the creative force that shapes your reality. You are the dreamer, and you are the dream. And as you continue to dream, the world will continue to respond.